Hello, welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully, you guys having a great day. It is Tuesday, another beautiful day. Happy Valentine's Day, or as I like to call it now, Happy Stimulate the U.S. Economy Day. Because, most of these holidays, my mindset is, and I've said this before, if you love somebody, you can show them every single day. But, if you want to choose this day as well to show them additional love, then there's nothing wrong with that all at the same time. I'm not knocking it, but my little quirky humor is just like, hey, happy Stimulate the U.S. Economy Day. Because that's basically what all holidays are for, Taco Tuesdays, 4th of July, birthdays, anniversaries, weddings, even, birthday, even funerals, unfortunately. All these things stimulate the United States economy. So when you start to just look at the numbers of things and you forget about everything else, then a lot of times you just start to look at things in a different manner, in a different way. And, it doesn't mean it needs to ruin your day or anything of that nature. But, sometimes you just got to analyze the information. And like I said, the older I get, the more I want to analyze the information that actually has to do with my self-improvement and not just me trying to sound smart, or as a lot of people call intellectual masturbation, because especially in the social media world, we have so many people that love to point that out. I mean, to do that and not have anything that's feasible from that. So anyways, today's word of the day is boor, and it's B-O-O-R, not bored, but boor. Stands for a crude person with rude, clumsy manners. And, I don't care where you go from, background, religion, ethnicity, whatever have you. We've all ran into people who could be a bore, people who are clumsy, who are rude. They have a reputation of just being an all-out, straight-up douchebag, jerk, witch, whatever you want, whatever words you choose to utilize. We've all ran into those kind of people, and majority of the time it's because they're miserable, and it's because they're lacking something in their life, whether it's a family, whether, not even just that, because I've ran into a number of people who have families and who are married and are just the most miserable people that I've ever met in my life. All the education in the world, whatever, they could have millions of dollars. Some of the most just rude and miserable people on the face of the earth. So to me, that's just always been funny. But with people like that, you just, to me, it's like I said, it's kind of like back in school, when you had the quote unquote school bully, you just have to ignore them and go from there, because at the end of the day, life is too short. And at the end of the day, when you allow somebody to ruin your day, then you just basically give them the power. And, and that's regardless of what age you are in this life. You give them the power, and then they know how to continuously mess with you. So I just leave it at that. Heck, I've even seen, and it's funny, I remember a previous job, this one guy, he he knew how to tick somebody off. And it was funny because, and he, like I said, he was like a year or two younger than me, but it was like a guy that was old enough to be our dad, and he knew the trigger words just to tick him off. And it was the funniest thing ever, because his face would turn red every time. Like, I would see it in his face, and like he's about to mess with him, because the guy that he was messing with was rude and thought he knew it all, because, he worked 30 years doing whatever he used to do. But anyways, long story short, that guy used to have me laughing, because he said, Larry, I just like to mess with him just to get him mad. I was like, yeah, it's like, I feel like I'm in high school again. He's like, exactly, this guy's old enough to be our dad, but yet and still, this guy gets triggered at one or two words, and it's the funniest thing ever. And he's like, I feel like a wizard sometimes. Dance, puppets, dance. It's just the funniest thing ever. So, and I think that's what people do when you constantly let the little things in life get to you. Like I said, as long as nobody's putting their hands on me, I don't care what somebody says. I don't got time for it. Today's quote of the day is by one of the best rappers, actors, and poets on the planet. Name is Mos Def, from the Black Star days. He says, all over the world, hearts pound with the rhythm. Fear not of men, because men must die. Mind over matter and soul before flesh. Angels for the pain, keep a record in time. And I always loved Mos Def. He's probably one of the most underrated rappers on the planet, or just showmen on the planet. Especially given the fact that when they had that little billboards thing come out about the best rappers on the planet, one, that list was totally full of it, one. But two, you got to think about who, corporate America put that list together. So why am I going to listen to corporate America? And I think when it comes to any best artist, and it boils down to the listener. It's not about a corporation, a record label, or whatever have you. It's about what the listener cares about. Because before, like I said, I'm an 80s baby. So I remember before, we had streaming, we had these things called CDs, and I would listen to CDs, but and we'd had these things called music stores. When I would go to a music store, every now and then I would actually spend money on an artist and just take a chance. I would just take a chance on an artist. If I heard an artist on another song, and I like listening to the underground music. And now, like I said, nowadays, the good thing about today's generation, they can find artists online with a few clicks, and they can find them for free a lot of times on YouTube or other platforms. So that's one thing I can say with sincerity. I've always loved and appreciated in various different fashions and various different ways. And I'm very, very happy about that. But I remember, I took a chance on Tech Nine, one of my favorite rappers, and I know he was very happy because he's from Kansas City. As he would say, we repping KC Mo, fellas and the ladies know. But anyways, Tech Nine was very happy. He was at the Super Bowl in Phoenix, Arizona. But anyways, I remember seeing his record, and I was just like, I didn't recognize him at the time. When I heard his voice, then I was like, oh, snap, I remember him. And but I remember the look on his page, and this was 2004, 2005, around that time. 2003, 2004, I was just out of high school. Can't believe how long ago that was. But anyways, he was on his album cover like this, with his hands like this. He had long red hair. He didn't look like any rapper at the time. And even like he basically looked like a lot of the rappers in a sense how they look now, but he still had his own style. He always had his own style. That's what he never tried to follow the crowd in regards to his music, his style, his fashion, or anything of that nature. So anyways, long story short, I took a chance by buying his CD, and I became an instant fan of his, and I've been a fan of his to this day. That's been over a decade, and I'm glad I got to see him live in person, 2015. So long story short, a lot of times you have to be able to take a chance and don't worry about fear so much, and mind over matter is one of the biggest things, because when you're, as my friend Ronald Samuel says, if your mindset is on point, then you can light up life's beautiful joint. And I'm not talking about marijuana. So on that note, do the great 3 things. Like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day. As I always say, make money moves, or you're going to live like a fool.